They still have another 24 balls to survive in this innings. Tim David, the man of the moment, 53 off 19, just 3 dots in his innings so far. And look at that strike rate, 278. Oh my word. Malaysia not enjoying themselves. Fithri Sham back into the attack. Once again, a curious decision there from Ahmed Fez to take him out of the attack. Fithri, of course, was able to keep Siddhant Singh quiet in his previous spell. Does so once again. Just a little bit of grip off that surface. A leading edge, just a single. Malaysia, of course, will take singles. Tim David now facing up to Fithri Sham for what I believe is the first time in this innings. And Tim David once again just nails that sweep to the left of fine leg. It looks like Anwar Aradin there, helpless, unable to cut that off. So Fithri Sham conceding his first boundary there. It's been a much needed spell from the left arm spinner today. Fithri Sham, one of 2 changes from Malaysia today. And you'd have to wonder where Singapore would have reached if it wasn't for that change. Having said that, he's still got 4 balls left in his spell. And that's cut away from Tim David. Too easy. Pierces the gap between backward point and the cover region. Consecutive boundaries now off the bowling of Fithri Sham. Not finding it easy here in his second spell. Tim David now 61 off 21, and he smashes that straight to cover. Just a single. Looks like Kizar Hayat there at deep cover. The Malaysians not making a lot of noise here. Nothing to be enthusiastic about, really. It's been a tough morning for them. Siddhant Singh turns that into a full toss. Not able to do much with it, however. Tim David, is he going to find the boundary? Kizar Hayat tidies up. Good bit of fielding, a strong throw in there. But not before the batsmen get back for 2. 13 off that over. Tim David once again catching up to Siddhant Singh. Both batsmen undefeated in the 60s. Just the 5 bowlers used by Malaysia. Fithri Sham finishes his spell, going for 31 in his 4 overs. And that worm going from bad to worse for Malaysia. Still another 18 balls to survive for the men in black and yellow and shades of grey. A big shot there from Siddhant Singh, and he clears the man easily. Straight over the bowler's head for a maximum. The umpire is getting a lot of exercise today. As we take a look at that, yet another maximum for Singapore. Siddhant now moves into the 70s. And yet another big shot again over long on. Back-to-back maximums now for Siddhant Singh. The first time he's done that in his innings. This is definitely the best innings that Siddhant has ever played for Singapore. His career best across formats. And really for Siddhant, his batting has gone from strength to strength in the last 9 months or so. Started off by making key contributions down the order at around 8 or 9 in the Challenge League in Malaysia in September. And just building on that, a big score for him today. And another big shot attempted. This is a chance. And it is... That's taken. Not much of a celebration there from Malaysia. A lot of damage done there. Siddhant Singh perishing unselfishly. A really, really good innings though from the opener. 77 off 50. Who's walking in now? It looks like Janak Prakash, unless my eyes are deceiving me. Janak Prakash, of course, the designated finisher for Singapore. And yes, it's Janak. Tim David, of course, still out there in the middle. The batsman crossed. It's going to be Tim David on strike. Kazar Hayat, he's brought up his half century. Not in the manner that he would have liked, though. He's conceded 50 runs with 3 balls still remaining in his spell. Tim David. And that's a massive hit. No chance for long off. He watches it sail over his head. Tim David. Of course, he was going to go for it. And Tim moves on to 70 of 24. What a return to form it's been for Tim. And that's short. Straight to long on, just a single. A rare single in Tim David's innings. I wonder if he has his eyes set on triple figures. That's just nudged down the ground there, just for a single. And apologies, Aryaman was the new batsman there. Just a single to open up his account. 203 now, Singapore for 2. 2 overs still left. Ladies and gentlemen, don't blink, or you might miss a Singaporean maximum. That's squeezed out by Tim David. Arya Manochil. Of course, he's got the power game. Aryaman, he's only been at the crease for 3 balls. Already his first maximum. He'll be looking to go again. Shazrul Idris. Can he stop him? That's well bowled, although it looks like it's been edged down to fine leg. A very fortuitous boundary there for Arya Manochil. So Singapore just keep coming with the big hits. There was a lot of talk during the T20 World Cup qualifiers of why Arya Manochil didn't get more game time. And in this brief innings so far, just showing what he can do with the bat towards the end of the innings. And that's a full toss. It's whipped away, and it looks like it's going to race away to the boundary once again. Back-to-back 4s for Arya Manochil. Things going from bad to worse to even worse for Malaysia. Once again, we're going to revise our expectations. Singapore will be eyeing something in the region of 235. And he's got him this time. Really just a consolation wicket there from Shazrul Idris. Nailed his Yorker for once. He finishes his spell with 1 for 55. Arya Manochil, a quick fire 16 off just 6 balls. He's done his job, it must be said. As we take a look at that replay, just a little bit of movement into the right-hander. Shazrul Idris, where was this accuracy earlier in the innings? And this time, it is Janak Prakash walking out to the middle. Janak Prakash, of course, a key role to play with the ball. There's a strong argument that Janak is indeed Singapore's spearhead with ball in hand. Leg spinner, tall leg spinner, Ananta Krishna will also be crucial as Singapore hope to defend this total. Just 1 over left now in the innings, and Sharveen Muniandi with the unenviable task of bowling it. Tim David, we all know what he's looking for. A big shot attempted and a dot ball. Playing a miss there from Tim David. Tim David sets high standards for himself. He's 72 of 27, yet he's very disappointed that he missed out on that. Felt like it was in the slot, and it probably was. Fuller. Another dot ball. Consecutive dot balls here in the final over. Sharveen Muniandi. A good start for him. Slower ball, misses his length. It's a full toss, and it's out of here. Yet another maximum. Yet another ball. Flies over mid-wicket towards the Singaporean dugout. It's gotten to the point where the Singaporean dugout has stopped cheering for 6s. That's how commonplace they've been today. Tim David been a brutal innings. And that's straight over the head of long off, yet another maximum. I believe that's the third time today that Tim David has hit consecutive maximums in the slot, as you can see. Cleared the boundary by at least 10 meters. Sharveen Munyandi started off so well in this over. It's gone for 12, 2 balls left. And that's yet another boundary. A 4 this time. Couple of bounces. Once again, into that Singaporean dugout. Past the deep mid-wicket boundary. A relentless assault continues. Still 1 ball left in the innings. Can Singapore get to 240? They'll get close enough. That splits the gap between long on and deep mid-wicket. A boundary to close things out. Singapore finish on 239 for 3. Tim David, 92 of 32. A brutal innings. And the question must be asked, how can Malaysia chase this down? "20 runs off that final over. A quick look at the scorecard. A strong start given by both Surendran Chandramohan and Siddhant Singh with 47 and 77 respectively. When the partnership was broken, however, that just brought Tim David to the crease, who was in merciless form today. 92 off 32. A scintillating return to form. On the bowling front, not much to cheer for Malaysia. Fitri Sham, the pick of the bowlers, 1 for 31 in his 4 overs. Everyone else disappearing. Malaysia will not like the look of that worm. They weren't able to keep it tight. They weren't able to make the breakthroughs. A massive opening stand, the key for Singapore. And Tim David just took the game away from them. Look at the partnerships. A strong 96-run opening partnership, as we mentioned. Close to 100 put on by Tim David and Siddhant Singh. There was no looking back for Singapore. And we're going to take a short break. We'll be back with you in around 10 minutes from now for Malaysia's chase. And they will be chasing 240 in search of 2 points. I'm your commentator, Jay Donsigani. If you like what you've heard, you can always follow me on Twitter at JCricketDude. I'll see you in 10 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the third Thai cricket ground for Malaysia's chase. They will be in pursuit of 240. If you missed the action from the first innings, Singapore accumulating 239 runs. A strong opening stand by Siddhant Singh and Surendran Chandramohan, followed up by a brutal knock of 92 off 32 from the returning Tim David. A belligerent return to form for the tall Singaporean-born Western Australian Perth Scorchers all-rounder. And as usual, it's Virandeep Singh and Anwar Aradin to start things off for Malaysia. Skipper Amjad Mehboob with the ball in hand. An interesting change for Singapore is the inclusion of Ahan Achar in place of power play specialist Vinod Bhaskaran. So it will be interesting to see who opens with Amjad Mehboob from the other end. It may well just be Janak Prakash. Janak, of course, a fearsome fast bowler, loves to dig it in. We'll be seeing more of him in the not too distant future. It's Amjad Mehboob to kick things off. Runs straight away for Virandeep. He's off the mark, as are Malaysia. It will be interesting to see how Malaysia approach this chase. An improbable chase, it must be said. Don't be surprised if you see the likes of Aminuddin Ramli or Sharveen Muniandi promoted up the order to have a bit of a hit. Khizar Hayat has been batting at number 3 in the first 2 games for Malaysia. In the last game, however, he smacked a full toss straight to mid-wicket. That was preceded by a first ball duck. For now, however, it's Anwar Aradin facing up to his first ball. A nudge outside off stump, just trying to feel for the ball there. As we take a look at this on the replay, Amjad Mehboob just continuing on with the angle. Amjad with that trademark run-up, just snaking around before delivering the ball. Tidy start from him. Needless to say, Malaysia will need a strong power play. Charges down the track, Janak Prakash makes no mistake at mid-on. And Singapore draw first blood. A great start for the men in red and black, not so much for Malaysia. They lose first wicket. Anwar Aradin out, second ball. This chase just got a lot tougher for the Malaysians. As mentioned, a highly improbable chase. We're just going to get clarification on who's walking in number 3. So no change in the batting order so far. Khizar Hayat continues to bat at number 3. He's going to need a score. Not the best start to the tournament for Khizar. Not managing to get into double figures yet. Kizar Hayat all set for his first ball, and he's going to have to go from ball one. Straight down the ground, Janak Prakash chooses not to throw. So Kizar Hayat now off the mark. A very tidy start so far from skipper Amjad Mehboob. Just 2 runs coming off the first 4 balls. Including, of course, the wicket of Anwar Aruddin. Janak Prakash so far has been in the action at mid-off. Taking that catch, of course. Gets on top of the bounce there. Virendeep unable to pierce the covers. Tim David cleans up. 2, 3, 4. A 5-4 offside field here for Amjad Mehboob. No doubt he will be looking to tuck the batsman up. And that's just guided away for a single. And that's the end of a successful over. 3 for 1 Malaysia. Not the ideal start. And they've got to step on it right now. Tim David from the other end with his off spinners. Virendeep on strike. What can he do? And he lofts that. Oh, it's straight to deep mid-wicket. Disaster here for Malaysia. They lose their second wicket. Virendeep Singh, the man to hole out there. To deep mid-wicket. Just 2 runs for Virendeep. Malaysia in early trouble. Just flighted that up. Tim David getting a little bit of dip. Virendeep not able to get that off the middle of the bat. Only managing to find deep mid-wicket. A great start with the ball for Singapore. They've barely put a foot wrong so far. Skipper Ahmed Faiz now strides out to the middle. And he's going to have to go from ball 1. Tim David with a wicket off his first ball. A little flatter. No single on offer. Still no boundary for Malaysia. Wider this time, just gives Ahmed Faiz a little bit of width. It doesn't run down to the boundary. A slowish outfield on that side. Ahmed Faiz, however, is off the mark with a useful 2. Just tucked off his legs. An easy single there. Kizar Hayat goes for the big shot, and that's his first boundary and Malaysia's first boundary. A much needed one, just to break the shackles. Just mowed that towards deep mid-wicket. No issues finding the gap. And he goes for it again, this time to the left of deep mid-wicket. Consecutive boundaries now for Kizar Hayat. As we take a look at that, just taking that from off stump. Malaysia now 14 for 2. A little bit of impetus in their innings. A much better over. 11 runs off it, but they still lost the all-important wicket of Virandeep Singh. A reminder that in a tournament like this, where only 2 teams go through to the next stage of qualifying for the Asia Cup, net run rate could be a crucial factor. Malaysia will want to get as close to this target as possible, if not chase it down. Amjad Mehboob once again. Let's ease down into the covers, a bit of a misfield. Allows the batsman to get across for a single. Kizar Hayat once again. Guides that away. No single on offer. Backward point. In very quickly. That just got big on him. But Kizar Hayat manages to squeeze that down to the third man boundary for his third 4. He moves into double figures. A quick start for Kizar Hayat. Once again, just a little bit of width, and that's straight to backward point. Malaysia now lose their third wicket. Amjad Mehboob with his second. Malaysia now 19 for 3 with 2 balls left in the third over. So Kizar Hayat looked promising at first. He walks off dejected. A strong start to the power play here from Singapore. It's been all Singapore so far. The talented Syed Aziz Mubarak walks in at number 5. A tall task ahead of him, however. Skipper Amjad Mehboob, 2 wickets in his first 2 overs. And he comes over the wicket to Syed Aziz Mubarak. Oh, so close to that outside edge. Amjad could have had 2 and 2. Malaysia all at sea here. Once again, just going on with the angle, perhaps just a little bit of lateral movement there from Amjad Mehboob. Tucks him up. No single on offer. Just 5 runs off the over and a wicket. Malaysia 19 for 3. Chasing 240. You heard that right. 240. Singapore earlier in the day registering by far the highest total of the tournament so far. And it looks like Tim David is going to continue. Not a pretty looking scorecard so far for the Malaysians. Success for both bowlers. A wicket falling in each of the 3 overs Singapore have bowled so far. Tim David, destroyer in chief with the bat, will be looking to add to his wicket tally. Here comes the off spinner. A big shot attempted. Tim just slowing things down. Half appeal for stumping. Square leg umpire, unmoved. And that's cut away beautifully. In front of square by Ahmed Fez. He gets his first boundary. So in between all the wickets, Malaysia still managing to find the fence every now and then. Yet to clear the boundary ropes. Something Singapore did with relentless efficiency. In the first innings, that's pulled away along the ground straight to deep mid-wicket. Ahmed Fez, of course, coming into this tournament in good form. Couple of key contributions against Hong Kong as he goes over the top and he clears the boundary for his first maximum and a much needed maximum for Malaysia. Tim David, just under a little bit of pressure, getting just a small dose of his own medicine. Ahmed Fez just finding that region between long on and deep mid-wicket, and he guides that away. A dot ball this time. Once again, trying to find mid-wicket, and he clears mid-wicket once again. That's the second 6 of the over. A good one for Malaysia, 16 runs off it. Their total moves on to 35. With the loss, however, of 3 wickets. Quick start for skipper Ahmed Fez. He's scoring at 2 runs a ball. Malaysia are going to need a lot more of that. With that 16 run over, you'd assume that's the last we see of Tim David for now. It remains to be seen whether Tim is entrusted with a 3rd over later in the innings. And it's the man we spoke of earlier, Janak Prakash. Tall, lean, and mean. Here he comes. That's tucked away. Syed Aziz Mubarak now off the mark with a single. Janak Prakash just follows Ahmed Fez, tucks him up. Janak, quick and pacey, as usual. Clocked up some impressive speeds in the T20 World Cup qualifiers, picking up where he left off. And that's slapped in front of square, a misfield there from the fieldsman at extra cover. Syed Aziz Mubarak didn't quite nail it, but crosses over for 2. An attempted pull, perhaps too high, called wide by the umpire. One bouncer for the over. Janak Prakash, of course, if he does nail that short delivery, he's lethal. And that's pulled away, just took his eyes off it a little bit. Syed Aziz still manages to pick up a single. Short delivery. Well directed as well from Janak Prakash. Something different from Ahmed Fez. Moves across to off stump. Tries to pull that away. Fine. Janak, however, 2 straight. Second wide of the over from Janak. So just a slightly wayward start. Janak, of course, can be a very tough proposition for the lower ranked associate teams. Backs away, Ahmed Fez slaps that through the covers for yet another boundary. So Malaysia continue to find the boundary. First boundary off Janak Prakash's bowling. 11 runs off the over so far with 1 ball remaining. This partnership races on to 27 in quick time. He backs away once again towards the offside. The umpire, no signal. It's a legitimate delivery to close off the 5th over. 11 runs off it. Malaysia now 46 for 3. 1 over left in the power play. As we take a look at the scoring trend worm, Malaysia losing regular wickets, losing 1 wicket each in the first 3 overs. Bit of a mini recovery since then, led by skipper Ahmed Fez and Syed Aziz Mubarak. They're going to need a lot more of this, however. And it looks like Aryamunachil is the new bowler. Tall leg spinner Ananta Krishna warming up at third man, at a deep third man. Ananta Krishna, of course, did miss the T20 World Cup qualifiers in the UAE. Singapore, no doubt, will be overjoyed to have him back, especially in light of Selador Vijaykumar's suspension for suspect bowling action. Play and a miss from Syed Aziz, still in search of his first boundary. It's been a quiet start from him. No doubt caught in two minds here. With all the early wickets, an urgent need to build a partnership. But he can't take too much time to get set. The required rate climbing every over. Can't pierce the offside field. Good sound of the bat there. But yet another dot. Just 4 balls left now in the power play. What can Malaysia do? Syed Aziz Mubarak with his first boundary. Down to long on. The Malaysian dugout, for the first time in this chase, making some noise as Malaysia bring up 50. For the loss of 3 wickets. 3 balls still left in the power play. Small break in play. The left-hander just changing bats here. Aryamunachil, the new bowler, part of a trifecta of fast bowling all-rounders for Singapore. Janak Prakash and Siddhant Singh being the other two. All three with ability with the bat. Doesn't quite nail that. Syed Aziz Mubarak. With age catching up to Amjad Mehboob, Singaporean skipper. Siddhant, Janak and Aryaman, no doubt, are the future. At least as far as Singapore's fast bowling stocks are considered. Here's Aryaman once again. A little too wide there. Aryamunachil, of course, the leading wicket taker in Group A of the Cricket World Cup Challenge League that was held in Malaysia. Syed Aziz just tucks that away for a single. As we near the end of the power play, every chance that Singapore bring in the spinners. Perhaps Ananta Krishna to bowl from the other end. swing and a miss, unable to connect. And that closes out the power play. Malaysia 52 for 3. So a decent recovery from Malaysia after losing their top 3 batsmen for just 19 runs. Kizar Hayat, just as it looked like he was getting set, dismissed for 13. Ahmed Fez, however, finding the boundary on a more consistent basis. Amjad Mehboob leading from the front with 2 for 8 from his 2 overs. Timothy David, however, did come in for some tap. And it looks like Tim David is back for his 3rd over. An interesting move. Perhaps just trying to spin the ball away from the lander. As I said, an interesting move with Ananta Krishna and Ahan Achar as options. Let's cut away from Syed Aziz Mubarak with Ananta Krishna just 2 runs and Ahan Achar fielder deep cover as options. That off. No time for a power play slowdown here from Malaysia. Let's cut away from Syed Aziz Mubarak